Everyone calls Xiaolin a loser, a useless virgin whose life is complete trash. But one day, everything changes when he and many students are suddenly kidnapped and taken to another world. In this world, everyone receives a special stat that decides their future. Some get powerful abilities, but Xiaolin gets the worst stat ever. Even the instructor says he has never seen such a trash stat in his life. Everyone laughs at him again, but what they don't know is that Xiaolin's stat hides a secret ability, an SS-class power. This trash will shock the entire world. Xiaolin sat alone in a dark room, wearing his gaming headset. He was a 23-year-old recent graduate who made a living by power-leveling accounts for other players. A victory screen flashed on his monitor, and he leaned back in his chair to stretch. His life outside of gaming, however, was far from successful. He remembered his father shouting at him, calling him useless, and saying he would never achieve anything in the real world. To prove his family wrong, Xiaolin packed his bags and left home. He wanted to discover what he was truly capable of outside the virtual world. But just 2 days later, something strange happened. Late at night, a delivery worker dropped off a mysterious black package at his door. Confused, Xiaolin carried the package inside and tore it open. The moment he opened it, a surge of dark blue magical energy exploded out of the box. A system screen suddenly appeared before his eyes. The message announced that Xiaolin had been accepted as a probationary freshman at Dawn Academy. The system confirmed that his identity verification was complete and immediately initiated a forced teleportation. The blue energy wrapped around his body and dragged him out of his apartment. When Xiaolin opened his eyes again, he found himself lying on the ground. Slowly sitting up and rubbing his head, he looked around and saw nearly 200 other people gathered nearby. They were all wearing ordinary clothes and looked just as confused as he was. Some of them whispered nervously, believing they had been kidnapped. Suddenly, a man in a military uniform stepped forward and stood over Xiaolin. Qin Chuan mocked him and said, "You slept on the floor for over 3 hours while everyone else was awake." The crowd immediately grew restless. Several people shouted angrily and demanded to be released, while others threatened to call the police. Without hesitation, the man grabbed the handle of his sword and drew the blade. A burst of purple energy erupted around his body. Qin Chuan shouted, "Quiet down!" Then he complained that the admissions department always recruited useless people. Once the room finally fell silent, the man introduced himself. Qin Chuan said, "My name is Qin Chuan. I am the instructor of first-year Class 7 at Dawn Academy." He explained that everyone standing there had been chosen. Here they would train their bodies and minds. If they survived the training, they would earn the right to enter something called the New World. Qin Chuan promised them that success would bring unimaginable rewards, wealth, authority, and even immortality. After that, he ordered everyone to step forward, take an ID plate, and undergo a potential evaluation. The students formed a line and stepped onto a glowing blue scanning platform, one by one. The machine analyzed their bodies and displayed their total attribute score. The first few students scored between 24 and 32 points. Qin Chuan looked at the results with obvious disappointment. He shook his head and said, "These numbers are far too average. Only 1 or 2 people here are even worth looking at." Finally, it was Xiaolin's turn. He stepped onto the glowing platform. The scanner passed over his body. Most students finished their scans in about 6 seconds, but Xiaolin stood there for almost an entire minute. At last, the machine beeped. Qin Chuan glanced at the tablet in his hand. Then his eyes widened in disbelief. Xiaolin's base strength was 2. His agility was 2. His intelligence was 2. His constitution was 3. His total attribute score was 9 points. Qin Chuan grabbed his face in frustration. He shouted, "I've never seen starting stats this terrible in my entire career." He called Xiaolin a once-in-a-lifetime piece of dead weight and a complete waste of resources. Xiaolin glared back at him. People had called him trash his entire life. He refused to let a few numbers on a screen define his worth. Catching the gold eye ID card that Qin Chuan tossed at him, Xiaolin said calmly, "I'll take the entrance test anyway." Qin Chuan chuckled and replied, "Fine, I'll wait for reality to teach you a lesson." At that moment, a woman with long black hair and glasses spoke up. Gu Xiaoyue asked calmly, "What price do we have to pay for the wealth and power you promised?" Qin Chuan respected her because she had the highest initial stats among the entire group. He explained that credits and exchange points were the currency used inside the academy. Students could trade them for almost anything. After that, he instructed everyone to hold their ID cards and think about the command to view their attributes. Xiaolin gripped his gold card and followed the instructions. A system window appeared in front of him. It displayed his name, his extremely low stats, and his combat ratings at the lowest possible level. But then something else caught his attention. The lifespan section. It showed that his natural lifespan was 83 years. Since he was 23 years old, that meant he had exactly 60 years remaining. Then a warning appeared beneath it. The system announced that every time a student died, 10 years would be deducted from their remaining lifespan. If their lifespan reached 0, they would die in real life. Panic instantly spread through the room as the other students saw the same message. Xiaolin quickly calculated the risk. He could only afford to die 6 times. Just as fear began creeping into his mind, the system screen suddenly changed. A new message appeared. It stated that an abnormal fluctuation had been detected. A hidden talent had just been unlocked. Xiaolin looked around and quickly realized something important. He was the only one who could see this message. The system explained that this talent greatly enhanced his learning ability. Its passive effect increased his learning efficiency to 100%. Its active effect allowed him to copy any ability rated F rank or lower from another person. However, the copied ability would only last for 3 minutes, and the skill could only be used once every 7 days. The system also noted that no record of this talent existed in the database. Because of that, Xiaolin was allowed to name it himself. After thinking for a moment, he chose a name. Xiaolin said, "I'll call it Top Student." The system accepted the name and completed the evaluation. His hidden talent was classified as SS rank. Xiaolin's physical attributes might have been terrible, but this secret talent could be exactly what he needed to survive the academy. Meanwhile, another student suddenly panicked. The student shouted, "I only have 9 years of lifespan left. Is this a system bug?" Without hesitation, Qin Chuan smacked him on the head. Qin Chuan snapped, "Use your brain!" He explained that if the student died even once, the 10-year penalty would completely drain his remaining lifespan. That meant instant death. The student rubbed his sore head nervously while the room fell silent. Qin Chuan then spoke calmly to the crowd. He explained that outside the academy, lifespan was simply something people used to survive. But inside the academy, it became a valuable resource capable of completely changing their fate. Qin Chuan pointed upward and said confidently, "If you earn enough credits, even true immortality is possible." Gu Xiaoyue adjusted her glasses and asked calmly, "Does this rule apply everywhere?" Qin Chuan nodded. He explained that once someone became a student of Dawn Academy, the rule would automatically apply anywhere on Earth. Then he raised his voice again. Qin Chuan shouted, "Enough useless chatter." He declared that the entrance test would begin immediately. Raising his arm, he snapped his fingers. At the same moment, a system message appeared announcing the start of a teleportation countdown. The countdown reached 1. Instantly, bright purple magical flames erupted around the massive crowd. All of the students disappeared. They were teleported away. Back in the empty room, Qin Chuan stood alone, rubbing the back of his head in frustration. He muttered that his luck was terrible. Not having a single truly gifted student would ruin his advisor evaluation. Suddenly, laughter echoed behind him. A man smoking a cigar walked into the room. The man greeted him casually and said, "Old Qin." He proudly bragged that his own class had recruited an A-rank talent and a B-rank talent. Then he asked how Qin Chuan's class had performed. The man casually wrapped his arm around Qin Chuan's shoulder. Defensively, Qin Chuan claimed that his class had a genius with more than 40 attribute points, but the man simply smiled. He said that high stats meant nothing compared to real talent. Taking another puff of his cigar, the man mentioned a strange rumor. He said, "I heard that last year a freshman with a double S talent appeared." Chin Chuan immediately swatted his arm away. He shouted that the rumor had already been completely debunked. According to the central database, there was absolutely no record of such a talent, which clearly proved that double S talents didn't exist. Meanwhile, far away from the academy, the students suddenly appeared in a dark and filthy cave. It was a goblin nest. A horrible stench filled the air. The students covered their noses in disgust as they slowly realized something terrifying. Xiaolin pinched his nose in disgust as a foul smell filled the air. At that moment, a system screen suddenly appeared in front of him. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully while reading the details of the entrance test. The system explained that their main quest was to escape the forest and reach a safe zone within 3 hours. There were also several optional quests. Students could earn extra points by killing goblins, and even more by defeating a goblin king. After that, the screen offered a starter pack containing a random beginner weapon. The system also added a friendly reminder. There would be no death penalty during this specific entrance test. The moment the other students read that message, many of them quickly checked their own screens. Relief instantly spread across the crowd as nervous cheers erupted everywhere. Xiaolin calmly reached forward and tapped the glowing gift box icon. Dark purple energy suddenly swirled around his hand. A wooden beginner staff slowly materialized in his grasp. At the top of the weapon was a small purple crystal glowing with magical energy. A system notification appeared. The system announced that Xiaolin had unlocked basic staff mastery. Xiaolin stared at the staff in amazement. It felt exactly like something out of a video game. Curious, he raised the staff and swung it down toward the ground. The moment the weapon struck the rocky floor, a burst of bright purple energy exploded outward. The impact instantly shattered the stone beneath his feet. A system window appeared again. The system confirmed that he had gained experience points in basic staff mastery. Realizing this, Xiaolin smiled. Simply attacking with the weapon was enough to increase his skill level. Holding the glowing staff confidently, he began thinking about his hidden talent. Because of his special ability, his learning speed was twice as fast as normal people. That meant his skills could level up incredibly quickly. But suddenly, Xiaolin groaned in pain and grabbed his head. Another system warning appeared. The system reported that his mana was insufficient to cast another energy attack. Only then did Xiaolin realize the problem. His base stats were extremely low. His mana pool was so small that it severely limited how often he could use magic. While thinking about this, he glanced over his shoulder. Nearby, another student was holding a massive broadsword while cheering excitedly about unlocking swordsmanship skills. Around them, scattered students were already practicing with their new weapons. Some swung swords, while others tested bows along the rocky path. Watching this scene, Xiaolin quietly thought about something important. Throwing completely untrained people into a dangerous survival test like this would almost certainly cause many deaths. Looking down at his large wooden staff, Xiaolin began reconsidering his choice. If magic required mana that he didn't have, then relying on a physical weapon might be a smarter decision. Suddenly, he noticed someone standing nearby. It was the calm girl with glasses. Gu Xiaoyue was holding a long silver dagger while carefully inspecting its blade. After a moment, she turned toward Xiaolin. Gu Xiaoyue said calmly, "Do you want to trade weapons?" She explained that casting spells required mana. With her high intelligence stat, she believed it would be a waste to simply fight using a dagger. Then she glanced at the staff in Xiaolin's hands. Gu Xiaoyue added, "That staff suits me much better." Without hesitation, she looked directly at him and spoke bluntly. Gu Xiaoyue said, "Besides, you don't look suited for magic at all." Xiaolin smiled awkwardly. He introduced himself and admitted that she wasn't wrong. Xiaolin said, "This staff needs 5 mana points to activate cultivate, and I simply don't have that right now." Gu Xiaoyue nodded slightly. The two of them reached forward and exchanged their weapons. Immediately, a system notification appeared. The system announced that Xiao Lin had obtained a beginner dagger. It also confirmed that he had unlocked basic dagger mastery. Xiao Lin gripped the dagger firmly. After testing its weight in his hand, he nodded with satisfaction. Xiao Lin said, "Yeah, this feels much better." He glanced back at Gu Xiaoyue, who was now holding the glowing purple staff. Deep down, he was slightly surprised. She had suggested the trade before he even mentioned it. Smiling warmly, Xiao Lin called out to her again. Xiao Lin said, "Do you want to team up?" But before she could answer, someone suddenly stepped between them. A tall, muscular man carrying a massive broadsword blocked their path. The man looked directly at Gu Xiaoyue. Wang Dalin said proudly, "Why don't you team up with me instead?" He introduced himself confidently and began boasting about his high physical stats. Then he pointed directly at Xiao Lin. Wang Dalin sneered, "That weak pretty boy can't protect you." He pounded his chest confidently. Wang Dalin said, "But if you join me, I guarantee your safety." Xiao Lin frowned slightly, gripping his dagger tighter. Meanwhile, Gu Xiaoyue simply stared at the man in complete silence. The surrounding students began whispering quietly. Realizing he was being ignored, Wang Dalin's face twisted with anger. Without warning, he grabbed Xiao Lin by the collar. Wang Dalin shouted, "I'll show you what real strength looks like." But Xiao Lin only smirked calmly. Xiao Lin said, "You won't get the chance." Suddenly, a goblin leaped out from behind and slashed Wang Dalin directly across the face. Blood splattered everywhere. Wang Dalin screamed in pain as he grabbed his injured face. The ugly creature lunged forward again, trying to finish the attack. Reacting instantly, Wang Dalin swung his giant broadsword with full force. The massive blade cut the goblin clean in half. The monster's body split apart and collapsed onto the ground. Wang Dalin stood there, breathing heavily. Wang Dalin cursed loudly. "Damn it! That thing almost killed me!" Then he angrily pointed at Xiao Lin. Wang Dalin shouted, "You just stood there waiting to see me embarrass myself over a tiny monster!" But suddenly, his voice stopped. Confusion appeared on his face. Slowly, he turned his head toward the nearby bushes. From the shadows, dozens of glowing yellow eyes appeared. A massive horde of goblins emerged from the forest. The monsters rushed forward violently. Panic exploded among the students. Screams echoed everywhere as the goblins attacked. Blood splattered across the rocky ground. Without hesitation, Xiao Lin lunged forward. He drove his silver dagger straight into the chest of an attacking goblin. At that moment, Xiao Lin finally realized something terrifying. This nightmare was completely real. The disgusting smell of the monsters filled his nose. Nearby, a female student was brutally attacked. At the same time, Gu Xiaoyue swung the magical staff powerfully. Purple lightning crackled around the weapon as she struck a goblin down. Watching the chaos unfold, Xiao Lin quickly understood the truth. Even if this forest was created from virtual data, the pain, fear, and death inside it were absolutely real. This was nothing like a simple video game. For ordinary people, this battlefield was nothing more than a slaughterhouse. Then, suddenly, one of the students shouted something important. The student pointed toward a nearby cave. The student yelled, "The monsters aren't attacking anyone inside that cave!" The terrified students immediately rushed toward the tunnel, hoping to escape from the goblin horde outside. Xiao Lin glanced toward the cave entrance and carefully analyzed the situation. For now, the place appeared safe. But when he saw the system notification panel floating nearby, he realized something important. The panel read, "Cave protection, time remaining, 29 minutes and 38 seconds. That meant the cave would not remain safe forever. Xiao Lin tightened his grip on his weapon and took a deep breath. He reminded himself to stay calm and carefully assess the situation. Looking toward the cave entrance with determination, determination, Shaolin made up his mind. No matter what happened, he refused to sit there and wait to die. Inside the cave, Shaolin began practicing his weapon swings. A system notification soon appeared. The system announced that basic sword proficiency had increased. He had gained 2 experience points. Seeing this, Shaolin quickly understood an important rule. Only properly executed movements performed with full strength granted experience. With only 2 strength and 3 constitution, his physical attributes were incredibly low. Every action he took had to count. He needed to become familiar with the weapon as quickly as possible and gain as much experience as he could before the real battle began. But time was running out. A cold system notification suddenly appeared. The system announced, "Cave protection is about to expire. Time remaining, 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Hearing this, the students hiding inside the cave began to panic again. They couldn't believe their only safe shelter was about to become dangerous. Many of the survivors had already lost their will to fight. Some whispered that the mission was impossible. They believed that ranged weapons could never hit those goblins because the monsters were far too fast and agile. In sharp contrast to the terrified crowd, one person remained calm. Gu Xiaoyue sat quietly in a corner, silently observing everything. Suddenly, the steady sound of Shaolin practicing caught her attention. Sweat streamed down his face, yet he continued focusing on every single movement. After watching him for a moment, Gu Xiaoyue walked toward him. Gu Xiaoyu said coldly, "What you're doing is meaningless." She calmly explained her calculations. Under normal circumstances, it takes about 1 hour to raise a basic skill to level 2. She glanced at the countdown timer. Gu Xiaoyue added, "The mission time simply doesn't allow for such a slow method." Her analysis surprised Shaolin. He couldn't help thinking that this girl was truly intelligent. Seeing him remain silent, Gu Xiaoyue adjusted her glasses slightly. Gu Xiaoyu said again, "According to my calculations, reaching level 2 would definitely require 1 hour." But Shaolin simply smiled. He knew her analysis was completely correct. However, he had something she didn't know about, his cheat-like system talent. A system panel appeared quietly before his eyes. It displayed his progress. Basic sword proficiency, 98 over 100. He was only 2 points away from leveling up. Shaolin thanked her politely. Shaolin said, "Thanks for the reminder. I'm just getting used to the sword." Then he mentioned something else. Shaolin said, "By the way, I noticed you were observing the goblins outside." He looked at her curiously. Shaolin asked, "Did you reach any conclusions?" Now it was Gu Xiaoyue who looked slightly surprised. Gu Xiaoyue asked, "How did you know I was watching the goblins?" Shaolin scratched his head awkwardly. Shaolin said, "It's just like preparing before fighting monsters in a game." He continued explaining, "You check the strategy guide first." Gu Xiaoyue replied flatly, "I don't play games." Her blunt answer left Shaolin momentarily speechless. Even so, Shaolin shared the observations he had already made. Shaolin explained that the goblins' attack and defense were both relatively low. Their weak points appeared to be the head and chest. If someone could overcome their fear, defeating a goblin in a one-on-one fight shouldn't be too difficult. Looking around the cave, Shaolin saw the other students trembling in the corner. At that moment, he came to an important realization. The mission itself wasn't truly difficult. Everyone had simply been frightened out of their minds. Once someone loses the courage to fight, they lose every chance at victory. The countdown continued ticking. Only 2 minutes of protection remained. Shaolin finally spoke firmly. Shaolin said, "It's time to go outside." Gu Xiaoyue nodded. Gu Xiaoyue said, "We can't keep thinking only about running away." But just as the two of them prepared to leave the cave, someone suddenly stepped in front of them. It was Wang Delin. He blocked their path and demanded to know where they were going. Completely ignoring Shaolin, he turned directly toward Gu Xiaoyue. Wang Delin said confidently, "Come with me instead." He claimed that with their combined attributes, they could easily reach the safe zone. Then he glanced at Shaolin with clear contempt. Wang Dalin sneered, "Bringing someone like him will only guarantee mission failure." Gu Xiaoyue calmly responded. Gu Xiaoyu said, "Reaching the safe zone isn't difficult." Gu Xiaoyu continued, The real challenge and the greatest reward lies with the Goblin King. Hearing this, Wang Delin immediately shouted in disbelief. Wang Delin said, "The Goblin King is only an optional objective." He scoffed loudly. "It hasn't even appeared yet." Then he sneered again. "We can barely survive, and you're already thinking about clearing a hidden quest?" At that moment, Xiaolin finally spoke up. Xiaolin said calmly, "If the mission exists, that means it isn't impossible to complete." He explained his reasoning to the group. "If the Goblin King hasn't appeared yet, then there must be a trigger condition." He began listing possible triggers. It could be based on time, the number of remaining students, or the number of goblins killed. Gu Xiaoyue immediately continued the analysis. Gu Xiaoyu said thoughtfully, "We can rule out time." She explained that the academy would never give them only a few minutes to fight a boss. Then she continued evaluating the possibilities. The number of surviving students is also unlikely. There were already very few students left alive. That left only one reasonable explanation. Xiaolin nodded confidently. Xiaolin said, "The boss probably appears after we kill a certain number of goblins." At that moment, a female student holding a bow timidly spoke up. The girl said nervously, "Isn't completing the mandatory objective enough?" She looked toward the forest in fear. The girl continued, "The goblins outside are already terrifying. I don't even want to imagine how strong the Goblin King might be." Hearing the hesitation spreading through the group, Xiaolin turned back and spoke loudly, "Because failing this test has no penalty." Then he raised his voice. Xiaolin continued, "But succeeding brings huge rewards." He looked at everyone around him. Xiaolin said, "If we just run away now, we're missing a huge opportunity." He continued persuading them. "Do you really think we'll get another chance like this after enrollment?" He explained that normally there would always be serious risks, but this time there was no punishment for failure. Xiaolin said, "We already have a chance to earn extra points and exchange items, so why not try?" His words began to affect the group. The students looked at each other uncertainly. After all, they wouldn't truly die in this test. And with the cave about to lose its protection, they had no better choice. But suddenly, Wang Dalin roared loudly. "Are you seriously going to listen to this weakling?" He puffed up his chest proudly. Wang Dalin said, "Look carefully at who the strongest person here really is." Then he declared his stats. "My initial attributes total 32 points. Gu Xiaoyue said, 32 points. She pushed up her glasses slightly. Gu Xiaoyue added, "That's only slightly above average." Wang Dalin's face immediately turned red with anger. Wang Dalin shouted, "Then how high are your stats?" Gu Xiaoyue calmly adjusted her glasses again. Then she spoke a number that stunned everyone present. Gu Xiaoyu said simply, 46. The cave instantly fell silent. The surrounding students stared at her in shock. Then Gu Xiaoyu turned toward Wang Dalin. Gu Xiaoyu asked calmly, "Now, may I ask you to be quiet?" Cold sweat appeared on Wang Dalin's forehead. For once, he had nothing to say. Meanwhile, the other students looked at her with admiration. Even Xiaolin was stunned. 46 points. That was more than 5 times his own stats. With such overwhelming attributes, Gu Xiaoyue naturally became the leader. She looked at the group and spoke firmly. "Anyone who wants to pass the test and earn rewards will follow my commands." She explained that unity was their only chance. Gu Xiaoyue said, "Only by working together can we complete this mission." Then she turned toward Wang Dalin. Gu Xiaoyue ordered, "Your attributes are high." She pointed toward the cave exit. "You will draw the goblin's attention from the front." Although he clearly disliked the order, Wang Dalin had no choice but to accept it. Next, she organized the rest of the group. Gu Xiaoyue instructed the students with ranged weapons to support from the rear. They would form teams of 3 to cover one another while eliminating as many goblins as possible. Finally, she turned toward Xiaolin. She seemed to be thinking about what role to give him, but before she could say anything, Xiaolin spoke first. Xiaolin volunteered, "I'll move freely around the battlefield." He explained his idea calmly. "I'll harass the goblins and finish off any injured ones trying to escape." Then he admitted the truth openly. Shaolin said, "My attributes are low, so if I want to help complete the kill objective, I have to avoid direct fights." With the plan finalized, the group stepped out of the cave. They were ready to face the goblin horde. Wang Delin immediately charged forward. Roaring loudly, he swung his massive weapon at the goblins. His sudden attack instantly attracted the monster's attention. Behind him, the archers raised their bows together. Arrows flew through the air in support. However, the goblins were extremely agile. They moved quickly and easily dodged most of the arrows. One goblin suddenly broke through the defensive line. The creature rushed directly toward a female archer. The girl screamed in terror. At that critical moment, a figure suddenly flashed forward. It was Shaolin. With a single clean slash, he cut the goblin down instantly. A system notification appeared. Goblin eliminated. Kill +1. The female archer nervously tried to thank him, but Xiaolin barely paid attention. He was completely focused on his strategy. Avoid direct confrontation, conserve stamina, wait for the perfect moment, then deliver the finishing blow. This last-hit tactic quickly proved extremely effective. Soon he eliminated another goblin, then a third, then a fourth. Shaolin's kill count steadily increased. The other students watched in disbelief. One of them whispered in shock. The student said, "That guy only has single-digit attributes." He stared at Shaolin. The student asked, "So how does he always strike at the exact moment the monster becomes vulnerable?" Wang Dalin was filled with jealousy. He scoffed loudly. "He's just getting lucky." But Gu Xiaoyue knew better. She had been carefully observing Shaolin the entire time. She noticed something unusual. Shaolin always managed to stay outside the goblin's line of sight. Even more strangely, he seemed able to predict their movements before they attacked. Shaolin quickly secured another kill. A system notification immediately appeared. He had gained 6 experience points. Then, another message followed. Basic sword proficiency has leveled up. Current level, level 2. Shaolin had finally succeeded. He quietly thought to himself that he was lucky. Months ago, he had discovered a VR combat game and spent 2 entire months grinding its mechanics. If not for that experience, he would never have been able to strike with such precise timing. Suddenly, another system panel appeared in front of him. The system displayed new information. Shaolin had become the first student in his freshman class to reach level 2 in a skill. According to the freshman reward policy, he would receive a free skill suited to his current abilities. A new notification appeared. Skill unlocked. Heavy Strike, level 1. The description explained the skill clearly. It required strength above 1 and could be used with any physical melee weapon. After a short charging period, the user could unleash a powerful strike. The damage would scale based on the user's strength attribute. However, the system also issued a warning. Repeated use of the skill would rapidly drain the user's stamina. Shaolin clenched his fists in excitement. Shaolin said quietly, "I leveled up and even unlocked a new skill." Then he looked toward the battlefield again. Shaolin said, "Just one more goblin, and I'll finish the optional mission." He quickly locked his eyes onto his next target. Not far away, a goblin had just been knocked flying by Gu Xiaoyu's attack. The monster landed directly in front of Shaolin. Without hesitation, he stepped forward. One clean slash. The goblin collapsed instantly. A system notification appeared. 5th goblin eliminated. Optional mission. 1 completed. Shaolin rested his sword on his shoulder and let out a long breath. At least one mission was finally complete. But suddenly something strange began to happen. The remaining goblins on the battlefield started dissolving into fragments of blue data. Everyone froze in confusion. None of the students understood what was happening. Wang Delin panicked. Wang Delin shouted, "What's going on?" Just then, a sharp system beep echoed through the forest. A global announcement appeared before every surviving student. The system broadcasted a message. 1/3 of the goblins have been eliminated. Hidden condition fulfilled. Leader activation initiated. A deafening roar suddenly erupted from deep within the forest. The ground trembled violently. Trees shook as something massive approached. A gigantic shadow slowly emerged from the darkness. the system revealed its name, Goblin King. The final boss of the stage had appeared. Its enormous body towered above the battlefield. Standing before it, the freshman looked no larger than ants beneath its feet. The real battle had only just begun. The moment he appeared, the Goblin King threw his head back and released a thunderous roar. The horrifying sound spread across the battlefield like a massive shock wave. The ground trembled violently. Even the air itself seemed to compress under the overwhelming pressure. The freshman students instantly fell into panic. The terrifying roar forced everyone to cover their ears in pain. The female archer winced, feeling as if her eardrums might burst at any moment. No one could remain calm anymore. Gu Xiaoyue stood frozen in place. Her face turned pale as she felt the overwhelming power radiating from the monster before them. Even though she possessed the highest stats in the group, she couldn't stop her body from trembling. The gap in strength between the two sides was simply too great. While the other students began to panic, scatter, and retreat, Xiaolin remained exactly where he was standing. His sword was tightly gripped in his hand. His calm eyes stared straight at the Goblin King. The gigantic boss loomed over the battlefield like a living shadow. Above its head, a blazing red health bar appeared. It stretched across the air like a cruel challenge, a signal that a completely one-sided battle was about to begin. A close look revealed the Goblin King's savage face. Sharp fangs showed through a mocking grin. In his eyes, the students before him were nothing more than prey waiting to be hunted. There was no caution, no hesitation, only absolute contempt. At that moment, Xiaolin suddenly noticed something strange. All the smaller goblins from earlier had disappeared. It seemed the Goblin King had deliberately cleared the battlefield. He wanted to personally kill the intruders who had dared to enter his territory. The students stood frozen. No one could believe what they were seeing. The boss's ridiculously long health bar instantly destroyed any hope of victory. Some students began falling into despair. One young man finally broke under the pressure. He threw away his weapon and turned to run, ignoring Xiaolin's voice shouting from behind. Xiaolin shouted, "Hold the formation!" But it was already too late. The team collapsed instantly. Fear had completely taken control of their minds. Xiaolin forced himself to calm down. He carefully observed the monster in front of him. Based on his experience from playing games, he began analyzing possible weaknesses. Goblins normally had a very narrow field of vision. That was their only weakness. However, their hearing and sense of smell were extremely sharp. Even the smallest sound or unfamiliar scent could reveal a target's location. And just as Xiaolin predicted, the fleeing student immediately attracted the Goblin King's attention. The boss slowly turned its head. Its golden eyes locked onto the running student. The most frightened one had just become the first prey. Seeing this, Wang Dalin gritted his teeth angrily. To him, running away from battle was completely disgraceful. The arrogant young man still believed he was strong enough to challenge the Goblin King. He lifted his massive greatsword onto his shoulder. Wang Dalin shouted, "Everyone attack together!" In his mind, this was the perfect chance to prove his strength. Without hesitation, Wang Dalin leaped high into the air. His massive blade swung down with all his strength toward the Goblin King's head. It was a powerful strike, but against a high-level boss, it was laughably weak. The Goblin King's eyes flashed with cold golden light. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Before anyone could react, the Goblin King casually swung his arm. A deafening boom exploded across the battlefield. Wang Dalin's body was struck mid-air. He didn't even realize what had happened. The terrifying force sent him flying across the battlefield. In that single moment, all hope shattered. Wang Dalin crashed violently onto the ground. His body twisted unnaturally. Blood poured from his mouth. A true one-shot kill. Everyone who witnessed the scene felt a chill run down their spines. Someone as strong as Wang Dalin had been defeated with a single casual strike. Moments later, his body dissolved into fragments of pixel-like particles and disappeared. The sight completely destroyed the remaining students' fighting spirit. Everyone began running in every direction. Screams echoed across the battlefield. And that was when the real nightmare began. A male student cried out in despair before being crushed beneath the Goblin King's massive foot. Fear spread across the battlefield. Every plan of coordination instantly collapsed. The brutal scene looked less like a battle and more like a massacre. The Goblin King swung his enormous mace across the battlefield with terrifying power. One student after another was wiped out. A girl was struck directly by one of the boss's devastating attacks. Her body was thrown violently across the ground. She struggled to breathe while trying to regain her balance, but the Goblin King gave her no chance. The monster stepped forward, then slowly raised its enormous mace. It prepared to deliver the final blow. At that exact moment, Gu Xiaoyue attacked. She launched a powerful strike aimed directly at the Goblin King's arm. The attack forced the monster to pause for a brief moment. Above its head, the red health bar dropped slightly. Taking advantage of the opening, the injured girl quickly escaped. Gu Xiaoyue clenched her teeth. She could clearly feel the crushing pressure from the monster. Her attack had barely done any damage. She realized the truth. Attacking the Goblin King's arms or legs could only slow its movement slightly. Gu Xiaoyue understood something clearly. Even the smallest mistake in her calculations could cost her life. Slowly, determination ignited in her eyes. Running forever wasn't an option. If she wanted to survive, she had to find the enemy's weakness. A tactical plan quickly formed in her mind. If someone strong enough could draw the Goblin King's attention, she could stabilize her position and unleash powerful long-range attacks. But when she looked around the battlefield, her heart sank. Their original formation had completely collapsed. Shaolin dashed forward without a second of hesitation. The moment he moved, the Goblin King's blazing golden eyes immediately locked onto him again. To the monster, this tiny human was nothing more than an annoying insect that refused to die. With a furious roar, the Goblin King lifted its massive mace and swung it straight toward Shaolin. But Shaolin managed to dodge the attack with incredible agility. Even in such a life-threatening situation, Shaolin remained unbelievably calm. Instead of panicking like the others, his eyes quickly analyzed every movement of the Goblin King. After carefully observing the monster for a few seconds, he finally discovered an important pattern. The Goblin King always prioritized attacking the closest target. The moment Shaolin realized this, a strategy immediately formed in his mind. Without wasting a second, he shouted to the remaining students. Since all the other goblins had already disappeared, they only had to deal with a single enemy now. Shaolin ordered everyone to switch to ranged attacks and continuously harass the boss to draw its attention, creating an opening for him to strike. The female archer trembled slightly. Fear was still clearly visible in her eyes, but seeing how calm Shaolin remained in the middle of such chaos gave her a small spark of courage. She slowly took a deep breath and raised her bow. At the same time, Shaolin called out to Zhu Xiao, urging her to immediately begin using her magic to chip away at the Goblin King's health. Without hesitation, the two girls began coordinating their attacks. Arrows and magic were released at the same time. A rain of magical arrows and energy blasts struck the massive body of the Goblin King one after another. The boss roared in pain as the attacks continued landing, and for the first time since the battle started, the enormous health bar above its head finally began to drop. The Goblin King roared in agony under the constant assault. At one point, the pain was so intense that the monster even dropped its weapon. Seeing their attacks finally working, Shaolin quickly praised the two girls for their perfect coordination and urged everyone to keep up the same rhythm of attacks to finish the boss off. But right at that moment, something suddenly changed. The Goblin King let out a roar that sounded completely different from before. Slowly, the monster opened its mouth wide as a terrifying energy began gathering inside its body. Then the Goblin King clasped its massive hands together, channeling all its strength into a single devastating ability, Shockwave. In the next instant, its gigantic arms slammed violently into the ground. Boom! A horrifying shockwave spread across the battlefield. The earth cracked apart instantly, and countless sharp fragments of rock shot up into the air like deadly shrapnel, threatening to crush anyone caught within the impact zone. Zhao Lin immediately shouted in panic, trying to warn his teammates. But it was already too late. The shockwave was simply too powerful. The female archer standing behind him was instantly blasted away by the devastating attack. Her body was thrown across the battlefield before she disappeared. After unleashing the attack, the Goblin King slowly stood up again. Then it began walking straight toward Xiao Lin. It was clear that the boss was preparing to deliver the final blow and end the battle. Seeing this, Xiao Lin immediately stepped forward and stood directly in front of Zhu Xiao. His sword was still tightly gripped in his hand. Even though the situation had become incredibly dangerous, Zhu Xiao didn't look afraid at all. Instead, she smiled faintly as she looked at Xiao Lin. She asked him a simple question, now that only the two of them were left. Did they still have any chance of winning? Xiao Lin responded with a calm smile. Instead of answering directly, he asked her something else. Did she still have enough mana left to fire a few more energy attacks? Zhu Xiao was breathing heavily. After quickly checking her remaining mana, she gave him an answer. At most, she could only cast 2 more spells. Hearing that, Xiao Lin nodded calmly. For him, that was already more than enough. He explained that if even a single attack managed to land directly on the Goblin King's head, it would deal massive damage. However, Zhu Xiao immediately voiced her concern. The boss was simply too fast. She was afraid she wouldn't be able to aim accurately. Xiao Lin suddenly revealed a mysterious smile. Then he calmly replied, "If the boss was too fast, then he would simply make it unable to move." At that exact moment, a powerful aura began to surround Xiao Lin's body. His SS talent, Scholar, had officially been activated. His eyes instantly began glowing with a brilliant blue light. A faint system interface appeared before him as the system started scanning the entire body structure of the Goblin King. Thanks to the unique copying ability of his talent, Xiao Lin quickly analyzed the boss's shockwave skill. At that moment, a memory suddenly flashed through his mind. There was once a time when everyone believed he was completely useless, a person with a talent that had no real value. But now, everything had changed, because at this very moment, he was about to become the one controlling the entire battlefield. A system notification suddenly echoed in his mind. Skill, Shockwave, successfully copied. Duration, 3 minutes. Without the slightest hesitation, Xiao Lin charged straight toward the Goblin King.